Welcome back to day 42 of online learning. Today we're going over Unit 8, Lesson 1.4, and what we're going to be doing is focusing on how to solve division problems with some left over. So I'm going to pull up our lesson goals and objectives for today's video. For today's lesson, we're going to be focusing on being able to say, I will be able to use and understand division equations, I will be able to solve division story problems, and I will be able to make sense of remainders in division problems. And when I say remainders, I mean things that are left over. So let's take a look at this problem. It says 4 friends share 14 cookies equally. How much does each friend get? What I want you to do is take notes using these note-taking strategies. How many groups, how many in each group, and the total number. Pause me and do that now. So if I was to read this, I see that there's 4 friends that share 14 cookies equally. So I know my total number is 14 cookies. That's the most that they're going to get. They're not adding anything to it. And then the number of groups are the 4 friends. They're splitting up these 14 cookies to go to 4 friends. And my question is, how much does each friend get? So the number in each group is what we're trying to figure out. Pause me and think about an equation that I can use to represent this story problem. So I know that the total number is 14, and I'm breaking it up into 4 groups or 4 friends. 14 cookies, and it's getting broken up into 4 with 4 friends. And then I'm trying to figure out how many does each friend get. Pause me and draw me a picture showing how I would break up 14 cookies into 4 groups. So if I was to solve this, I see that I have 4 groups, so I'm going to draw 1, 2, 3, 4 circles or 4 groups. And now I'm going to break up 14 and deal it out equally in each. So if I was to count, I'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Then I realized it would be 13, 14. I realized that I can't put all 14 equally into the 4 groups. So each person has 3 cookies, and then I have 2 left over. So pause me and think about, how can I write this? How can I write my answer of 3 cookies with 2 left over? So what you can do is you can think that there's 3 cookies. So there's 14 cookies broken up into 4 groups, and each friend equally gets 3 cookies. But I could also be thinking, what am I going to do with these 2 cookies that are left over? I want us to think about back into using fractions. When I have something that I can't break up super easily into equal groups or whole numbers, what can I do? Let's pretend if I had, these are my 2 extra cookies. How can I break up these 2 cookies to go equally into these 4 groups? Pause me and think about how I can break up these. These are 2 cookies. How can I break up these 2 cookies to go equally into those 4 groups? Think about it in a fraction. What I can do is I can break up them into half, and I think that this part will go here, 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 and here. So everybody gets 3 cookies and then a half of the cookie. So 14 divided by 4 would be 3 and a half, because I'm breaking up these cookies equally so my friends are still getting equal amounts of the cookie. So let's put this all together and make a division notation or division equation. So my equation or notation would be 14 divided by 4 is equal to 3 and a half. Pause me and think about, what does 14 mean in this equation? In this equation, it means those are the total amounts of cookies that they're sharing. Pause me and think about, what does 4 mean in this equation? Four is the number of friends or the total number of groups that you're breaking that total number into. Now let's think about, what does 3.5 mean in this equation? Three and a half means the number of cookies in each group. There's 3 whole cookies and then a half of a cookie in each, if I was to break this up equally. Let's think about this in a different way. So we said that 14 divided by 4 is 3.5. Can I also say 14 divided by 4 is equal to 3? Is that a true statement? Pause me, talk with somebody at home. Can I also say 14 divided by 4 is equal to 3? And a way that might help you think about this is if I did this in a multiplication sentence. If I did 3 times 4 equals 14. Pause me and think about, can I say these equations? One thing that's important for me to pay attention to is this equal sign. Pause me and think about, what does that equal sign mean? An equal sign means that they need to be equal on both sides. That 3 times 4 needs to be equal to whatever is over here. And we know that 3 times 4 is equal to 12. So I can't say that 3 times 4 is equal to 14 because that's not true. Therefore, I also can't say that 14 divided by 4 is equal to 3 because that's not true. They're not equal on both sides. Think about it like a scale. It needs to be perfectly balanced on both sides between the equal sign. So I can't say that 14 divided by 4 is equal to 3. We have to say that 14 divided by 4 is 3.5. Or we can say it in a different way. Think about a different way that we can say that. In some division problems, there's things that are leftovers, remainders, what still is there. So let's say you didn't want to break those up into halves to give everyone equally, and you wanted to keep some of them as leftovers. There are other ways that you can write this problem in the answer. So instead of saying 14 divided by 4 is 3.5, I can also say 14 divided by 4 is 3 with 2 left, or 3 with 2 left over. I can state that there's 3 wholes with 2 still left. I can't just ignore those 2 cookies and throw them out the window. I can't pretend they don't exist. I need to be able to say that they still are there. There's 3 total cookies that they each got, and then there were 2 left over that maybe we'll save for a different day. Let's think about this a different way. Let's say there were 14 balloons, and I wanted to tie them to 4 trees. What can we say for the answer? If I had 14 balloons that I wanted to put on 4 different trees, how many will each tree have? And I want to do it equally. Pause me and think about, how many will my tree have? If I was to break 14 balloons up and put them equally on 4 different trees, I would have to say that there's 3 balloons on each tree. So if I was to draw this, and these are each the trees, 4 trees, and I want to break up 14 balloons equally at all. So I'd do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I can't break up a balloon in half. So I would have 3 balloons each with 2 extra. I would have 12, 13, 14. So I would have 3 balloons each with 2 extra or 2 left over. For your half due today, you're going to be solving more division problems with parts that are left over or with remainders, and that's pages 475 to 476. And they are also going to make a new set of division cards with the remaining facts that we haven't made yet. So you're going to create the division cards, and you're going to start practicing your old ones and your new ones. So I'm going to pull that up now for what facts you need to make your flashcards for today. Here you have division set 2. So on one side of your flashcard, you're going to write the equation, and then on the other side, you're going to write the answer. That's really important that you make them on 2 separate sides, or else you won't be able to practice with them. And so you have divided by 7, divided by 8, and divided by 9. You're going to make these flashcards and practice them. Just like we did with the division set 1, you're going to put these in with our old flashcards and practice by making them into a pile of facts that I know and facts that I don't know. The pile of facts that you don't know, you're going to be practicing 3 times a day until you can move them over to the facts that I do know pile. And it's important that you're doing this and you're being honest, because when you go to 4th grade, you're going to be expected to already have these memorized. So you need to make sure that you're really honestly practicing for at least 10 minutes a day. That way they come really quick to you as you're practicing them. When you're done practicing and creating your new flashcards, you're going to be working on pages 475 to 476, and that's what do you do with the extras. So your directions are to solve each story problem and show your thinking, and you can use cubes or drawings to help you. It's best if you use draw pictures to show how many groups and you splitting it up into each group. And for each problem, decide what to do the extras and explain your answer. So there's going to be extras in this problem. There's going to be leftovers or a remainder. So for number 1, it says there are 32 students going on a field trip. Each car holds 5 students. How many cars will they need? You're going to need to show me an equation and also draw a picture to represent your work. And then figure out what you're going to do with the extra students that aren't able to go in the car. There's not going to be an even amount. Now let's pull up your have-to slide for today. You need to complete pages 475 to 476. What do you do with the extras? And make sure to show your work to get full credit. And then you need to create your division flashcards set 2, just like we did with the last set of flashcards, with the equation on one side and the answer on the other side. And all those equations that you need to be putting on are uploaded in the assignment. And you need to upload a picture, because then the last time I wasn't sure who was being honest with making sure that they actually made the flashcards. So you're going to need to upload a picture of your flashcards in order to get full credit. And then after you're done creating them, you're going to practice your division flashcards and separate them into piles of facts I know and facts I'm working on. And practice the facts I'm working on at least 3 times each, and then do 15 minutes of IXL only on the highlighted skills. If you take a look on the rubric below, you'll see how you will be scored. Make sure that you're uploading a picture of those division flashcard sets. That way I'm able to give you credit.